They're very influential, which I don't think people quite necessarily understand if you've not been in a weighing room. So my 4 racing heroes, AP McCoy would always be up the top of that list. He actually gave me a birthday card. He'll never remember this. I do remind him from time to time when I see him. For my 15th birthday, when I went up to Jackdaw's Castle, I saw Black Jack Ketchum, who was my favourite horse at the time, a hurdler for John Joe. And seeing AP when I was growing up wanting to be a jockey for me, that was an exciting thing. I'd have to say John Joe in that light, because he's our local trainer and he's always very welcoming. He's very close family friends of my parents. And my mum and dad have had a couple of horses with him over the time. So for me, he's another influence. It would be a lady called Marcella Bayliss, who now lives in Cornwall. She led up and looked after Earth Summit in his racing days. He obviously won the 98 Grand National, legend of a horse. And he was a horse which I sat on before when I was growing up as a kid, and she allowed me that opportunity. She looked after him, and the Earth Summit is buried where my ponies were kept at her stable. So she was a big influence on me riding out and wanting to become a jockey when I was younger. Simon Clare, just because he'd like to be mentioned in this light. He'd like to be seen as some form of racing influence. You know his voice before you know his face. He's one of them, but we love Clary, don't we? Yeah. Simon Clare.
So my 4 main characters, I would say, obviously my father, to start with, Colin Tizzard, got me on ponies as a kid, got me my first pointers, got me started in racing anyway. Then I would say Paul Nicholls, who gave me a chance when I was 16 years old, gave me stable jockey job when I was 18 years old. Then a chap called Alan Webb, he rode Cheltenham Festival winner, but he was my valet. And if you were down, he'd come and sit next to you, have a cup of tea, chat you through
They're very influential, which I don't think people quite necessarily understand if you've not been in a weighing room.
I was glad I thought of him actually, because he was superb. Yeah, and my final one would be Richard Dunwoody. He was my idol hero jockey as I was growing up, who I styled myself on. Tried to, couldn't do it, but he was the one that I watched, and I was completely, you meet your hero. When I walked into a weighing room as a 16-year-old kid, and Richard Dunwoody was in there, and so he was my jockey coming through.
Love that.